Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a great day. Some incredibly interesting news. I mean, as always, crypto's never dull. To start things off, in the light of the splash that JP Morgan recently made with its plan for a bank-backed cryptocurrency, it's worth remembering that another big institution first tested a token to connect global payments around 4 years ago, codenamed Citicoin. The project out of the Citigroup's innovation lab in Dublin was never formally announced by the bank, even as a proof of concept. The idea was to streamline global payment processes. As such, there are obvious parallels with the much vaunted JPM coin. However, having taken stock of the experiment, not to mention the scorn of the Bitcoin community, Citi concluded that while the technology has the potential to live up to its promises, there were other more effective and efficient ways of making improvements in payments. That's according to Citi's current innovation lab chief, Gulur Artak, global head of innovation for treasury and trade solutions. Regarding the crypto experiments of her predecessor, she said, based on our learnings from that experiment, we actually decided to make meaningful improvements in the existing rails by leveraging the payments ecosystem. And within that ecosystem, we are considering the fintechs as well as, or other regulators around the world as well, including SWIFT. Taking a measured step back, Adak said, when it comes to improving cross-border payments, the bank is looking at effective methods with a short-term impact. We are trying to make those changes today rather than just putting all of our efforts into future technology. After all, to completely change a cross-border payment network with blockchain-enabled technology, one would have to onboard all the world's banks. They said, if we are talking about cross-border payments, how many banks do we have across the world? And how many of these banks are already onboarded with SWIFT? And how long has it taken SWIFT to onboard all of those banks? So this is also something, the really weird parallels that we're having in the cryptocurrency space are kind of freaky. I mentioned videos ago that years ago, people were talking about that all of these banks who were announcing that they were going to start their own cryptocurrencies, then that they would not only fall, but that these companies would eventually start using, how do I say this? We've had so many banks and central banks. I'm sure you all remember, if you were here for about a year now, the central banks who were coming forward talking about that they were going to make their own crypto. We're going to make our own this. We're going to have our own coins. We're going to have our own so-and-so. It was at least 7 central banks, about 5 different banks around the world, JP Morgan not included because this one's relatively recent. And you have not heard anything about them, and many of them have even backtracked. And if you kind of look through the actual thing of the other, how do I say this? The other companies and institutions and fintech companies who are trying to make cryptocurrency payment options, you see the names of these banks actually on, like, you know, not the partnership list, but like our investors, and it's always very big names. What it feels like, or what it actually might be happening, is what I said a couple of months ago as well, and it's very interesting because I said there was a very weird shift in the mood of the entire cryptocurrency space. Rather, in the traditional financial world, we saw all of a sudden a huge shift towards stable coins. Everyone was in love with stable coins for some reason, and they still are. Stable coins are expected to be the highlight of 2019. I mean, so what it seems to be, to me at least right now, a lot of the banks and the central banks who realize that they, first of all, it takes years to develop a blockchain. People always say, why would a bank or an institution just not use their own blockchain, create their own thing, create their own, so like it takes a, you know, these things aren't easy to build. You can fork another coin, but it takes a lot to actually have the infrastructure and to actually onboard all these other things. But what I think and what I assume is going to happen, and I will find out completely in around 2 or 3 years, I think that because we're seeing so much of a push by major companies and major banks who are launching, or rather helping to launch, stable coins, that a lot of the major banks and institutions of the world, whether they decide to use, you know, these cryptos over here, they will be using cryptocurrency in some sort of way. But I think that the general consensus, at least according to me, like I said, we'll see in a couple of years, is that they're going to start using stable coins. Because even SWIFT is also part of R3, if I'm not mistaken, and I have a feeling that they're also going to kind of go that route. But I think they're trying to figure out, my opinion, exactly which one they're going to use, which one is the most trustworthy and reliable. And I can only imagine the internal talks that are actually happening within all of these things. This actually ties directly into the next thing that we're going to be talking about, like directly into it. IBM is in the news. It says the head of blockchain solutions for IBM, named Jesse Lund, has hinted that bank targeted stablecoins will be a major forthcoming development for the tech giant's blockchain-powered cross-border payment solution. Lund made his remarks during an interview on financial news channel known as Cheddar. This happened last week. While more details are set to be imminently announced this week, or that says next week, but that's this week, which a lot of people are very excited about. Speculation, side time. This is not confirmed. No one knows for certain. We're supposed to hear about this week, exactly what IBM is planning. Apparently, because of the movement and the structure that things are happening behind the scenes with IBM and Stellar, and also the head of Stellar, I think Jed McCaleb, stepping down from his position where he was before, and like he hasn't moved from where he was, but he is like in another spot on the pyramid, if you kind of want to say that. Apparently, speculation, IBM announced that they're going to be announcing some type of, it's not a partnership, like a usage of a top 5 cryptocurrency on their actual WorldWire platform. People are speculating that it's going to be XRP. It could be a million and one things. No one knows exactly what it's going to be, but there aren't many coins in the actual top 5. So that's going to also be something very interesting to pay attention to as the week continues to roll on. It says, while more details are going to be launched this week, Lund told Cheddar that market demand is driving IBM to develop a stablecoin solution, exactly what we were just talking about, for financial institutions. They said, more than a few banks around the world see tremendous business benefit to issue stablecoins in their native fiat currency. When asked how IBM's solution compares to JP Morgan Chase's forthcoming in-house USD-backed JPM stablecoin, Lund hinted that IBM's solution would be somewhere in between. JP Morgan's exclusive closed network asset, he said, is not a proprietary coin like JPM's solution, although I think what we're doing makes a lot of sense for them. What JP Morgan's doing also adds tremendous validation to what we're doing, but our view for stablecoins is really that they should be more broadly accessible, and what WorldWire seeks to do is provide fungibility of digital assets across financial institutions. Whatever's going to happen this week, stuff's about to get really real. I don't know if the prices are going to react to it. I'm not even hopeful of prices even slightly reacting to kind of news like this, even though they desperately should. Whatever's going to happen this week, and especially what we've been seeing from IBM, I mentioned before, if you remember, for those who were here, sometime around 2018, Stellar was not my favorite coin. The only news that we had from Stellar was that Stellar had partnered with IBM. Yay, the price went up and then started going back down with all the other coins, and that was all that we heard throughout 2018. Maybe like one other time someone like let out a little bit of news. That was it. IBM, for some reason in 2019, and I think it still has to do with the time frame, like we kept on saying earlier this year, that Q1 of this year is supposed to be like this mega super crazy thing. And to be honest, we have had an enormous amount of very good news nonstop in the cryptocurrency space. It's just that the crypto prices have not moved. How do I say this? I didn't think that IBM's role in the cryptocurrency space was as large as it is, and as large that it would be. IBM has been talking with tons of banks around the world to try and, not even to try, tons of banks around the world, and the problem is that we don't know the names of these banks. That's kind of the craziest part. I mean, it's all full of non-disclosure agreements. They can't really say anything about their partnerships. First of all, IBM is huge. I wonder how long they've been working on this. I wonder how many banks that they actually have under their belt that they're actually going to be working with. They also announced before, I think it says it's somewhere in the actual article, that they plan on using other coins as well. I'm waiting for IBM to actually announce exactly what these coins are, and I hope that it actually happens this week, because they hinted before about 2 weeks ago that this week that they had major news that was going to rattle the cryptocurrency world. For some reason, we can have a complete 9.9 earthquake and the prices don't really move anywhere. I think a lot of people really aren't paying attention to exactly how deep and how far this is going to go. The entire financial infrastructure that we have in this world is changing, and is going to be completely changed by the end of this year. But I think a lot of people are more focused on buying a Lambo and all that other crazy stuff. Sorry, it was like... Anyway, it says WorldWire, which is what they're going to have, refers to IBM's collaboration with Stellar and the use of the network's native asset in IBM's cross-border payment network known as Blockchain WorldWire. Alongside Blockchain WorldWire, which aims to leverage cryptocurrencies to enable near real-time international settlement between banks, IBM has also partnered with Stronghold, a Stellar-based asset, to create the Stellar network's first stablecoin. As Cointelegraph reported in February, Lund recently hinted at IBM's interest in stablecoins as a vital aspect of innovation to the cross-border payment landscape. proposing that there should be an ecosystem of various digital assets that work as settlement issuance for cross-border payments. He said it could be XRP, it could be Bitcoin, but it would also include other instruments like stablecoins and eventually, soon, hopefully, central bank issued digital currencies. Whatever IBM's developing is going to be massive. I think I downplayed it, and I think it was also downplayed in 2018 because they released this amazing news. And I think in the cryptocurrency space, we're used to hearing about, cryptocurrency projects, every single day. What's going on? What are you doing? How are things coming along? IBM was incredibly silent. Hopefully this week, according to them, we should have a bit more clarity on exactly what's going to happen. I want to know exactly what's going to happen with Blockchain Worldwide, who they're partnered with, what banks they're partnered with, what stablecoins that they're going to be using, if they're going to be making their own new stablecoin on top of Stellar, if they're going to be integrating other stablecoins that we already have. I am certain. Listen to this. By the time that we get proper clarification, whether it be from IBM, ABC, 123, whoever they might be, how do I say this? I'm certain that stablecoins are going to be the new fiat currency. I'm almost certain of it. It's very difficult for banks and institutions and the world banks, central banks, to create their own digital currencies. And I think that they're going to start falling onto the backs of other stablecoins that we already have in the world right now. I would not be surprised over the next 5 to 10 years if banks end up announcing, especially once we get confirmation of exactly which banks are going to be using Blockchain Worldwide, and therefore which stablecoins are going to be applicable through that bank. The movement of them going digital is going to happen relatively quick, especially as they're using Blockchain Worldwide, and I would not be shocked if eventually they're going to start using Blockchain Worldwide as their main window to get into the cryptocurrency space. If we hear any major big names in the cryptocurrency space who are going to be getting into these stablecoins or other cryptocurrencies, this is going to change everything. Like I said, for some reason, crypto doesn't react price-wise to any of these things. Not exactly sure why. Kind of throwing my hands up in the air. I know where crypto is going. It's just not there right now. I'm certain within the next couple of years, let's say we have even so-and-so bank is going to start using Paxos. That'll then become their main coin that they're trying to also get you to use. And then once we have a more digitized economy, these coins are going to be kind of like the new fiat currency that people are going to be paying with. It's very weird to kind of imagine and to kind of see, but you kind of get exactly what I'm talking about. If a bank is going to be using these things as payments around the world and they therefore become legal and are then not deemed to be securities by the banks as the banks are using them, the SEC has no jurisdiction over them. Sorry for talking too fast. They're probably going to also try and incorporate them as well in an actual payment thing. What I think is going to be a bit of a mess from the very beginning. And I think it'll be smoothed out as time goes on. I have a feeling that multiple banks want to use multiple different cryptocurrencies or multiple different stable coins. And I think this is where things will kind of get fine-tuned. It's kind of like you had like Visa, MasterCard, what was the other one? Diners Club, and all these other cards from the 70s and 80s. And now we kind of mainly focus on Visa and MasterCard. I mean, there are other cards out there. But you kind of get what I'm saying. I think it's going to be a bit of a weird situation where tons of banks want to use their own things, who they're partnered with, who they're using, so and so, who they've already invested money into. But it's going to be relatively unlikely to have 30 major banks in the United States, each using their own stablecoin, trying to get you to use them on the street. And this is where I think it'll get very interesting to see exactly which stablecoins are going to be the winners, if you kind of want to say that, because I assume that we're going to have at least 5 or 6 stablecoins that are going to be used. And I think it'll be even more interesting if banks decide to not outright accept XRP, Stellar, Bitcoin, so and so, but you can take your Paxos that you have in America, go over to Europe, and also just find other people that also accept Paxos, and you'll be able to pay that way. Kind of interesting. You all see exactly where this is going. Very interested for this week. I tried not to hype it up. I completely failed. I apologize, 38,000%, my goodness. But you have to, this is incredibly interesting. IBM has been in the background for so long, but there's such a huge entity that they must have been talking with tons of banks for a very long time, especially when they kind of have hinted that there are other banks and there's a huge amount of demand from other banks who also want to use cryptocurrencies like that. I'm excited to see myself exactly what role Lumens is going to play. We had news about a day or two ago that they said that Lumens is going to be their the thing that they'll transfer value back and forth, but they said that it won't be the only thing, and it won't just be Lumens forever. If IBM announces XRP and Bitcoin are going to be used as part of their cross-border payment Blockchain Worldwide, and XRP and Bitcoin go down in price, what can you do? Like, what can you actually do? My goodness. Alrighty, let's move on. Next up, Riot Blockchain is planning to launch a regulated crypto exchange in the United States. The publicly traded U.S. company that has faced regulatory issues for a sudden pivot to blockchain revealed a filing with the U.S. SEC Friday that the new entity will be calling RiotX and will develop three main services. They will have banking, trading, and a digital wallet. The application follows the firm's change in business focus almost 2 decades in biotech when it rebranded to Riot Blockchain from Bioptics and shifted focus to crypto mining in 2017. I think I remember this. The firm later acquired a crypto brokerage and said it planned to build an exchange in 2018. The company was subpoenaed by the SEC months later over its sudden shift to blockchain businesses and a resulting stock price hike. For those who weren't here for that, we had a very weird situation. There was also like an iced tea brand who added blockchain to their name and their stock went up by like 38-40%. Everyone was just adding the word blockchain to their company name and the prices were skyrocketing. This is why we had an indication that this entire thing was a bubble, because the moment you add blockchain to your name, your stock should not have almost gone up by 50% or even 100%. But I guess a couple of these have kind of lasted. I think even a couple of other ones, they also announced that when they will be getting into blockchain, which was kind of the key word for 2017, that they would also be mining cryptocurrencies as well. During 2018 and 2019, the company also changed its board of directors, beginning with the resignation of its CEO and the SEC filing made public on the 14th of March. The company explains that the new exchange is expected to be handled by a subsidiary RiotX Handlings Inc., adding that its main focus is still on Bitcoin mining. I mean, it kind of is what it is. I guess this is more of like a, they swapped to, or rather they became a blockchain company and they're still kind of around. We had hundreds of these. And the SEC was kind of clamping down because they realized exactly that why they were doing this. And a lot of them were adding blockchain to their name. Their stock price went up. And then for some reason, like company members and other people were selling their stock when the price shot up. And it kind of is what it is. Anyway, next up, Binance has added support for Monero pairs. It says, this is very short. Recently, Binance has added trading pairs for Monero against Binance Coin and also for, I think that's Tether, USDT, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, yeah. So they've added that as well. That's kind of like, that's actually like the only, like Binance news just really quickly going over it. I like when crypto exchanges add other trading pairs, and I also like when Binance adds other additional trading pairs, because I think it's a shame that we have at least 50 good cryptos out there and they're all kind of just tied to Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's nice to hear that they have additional trading pairs because, you know, everything should not just go through 2 coins. Coinbase is in the news because Coinbase always follows Binance in news. Major U.S. cryptocurrency exchange known as Coinbase announced a new market structure for its professional trading platform known as Coinbase Pro. Per the announcement, the change aims to increase liquidity, enhance price discovery, and ensure smoother price movements. The changes include a new fee structure reportedly designed to increase liquidity, update order maximums, new order increment sizes, the turning off of stop market orders, and added market order protection points. According to the Post, Coinbase Prime and Coinbase Pro, the firm's institutional trading platform, will cease their support for stop market orders. The announcement further explains that all stop orders must now be submitted as limit orders are included in a price limit. The most important part here, apparently their new payment structure has apparently raised fees for normal people. The changes were met with some skepticism and negativity from the crypto community. Economist and trader Alex Kruger complained on Twitter saying Coinbase's Pros is raising fees for smaller clients by 33% while lowering fees for larger clients. I think maybe this is it. There we go. Yeah. So the more money you have, the lower your fees get. And sometimes it looks like you're almost paying almost nothing in fees, but the less money you're putting inside of it, the more money that you are paying to Coinbase. They say that it's to increase liquidity. Not exactly sure how that's going to work out. I wish Coinbase all the best. I don't understand exactly what's going through their heads or exactly how they're just doing things right now. But yeah, Coinbase has increased their fees to increase liquidity. To kind of finish things off, The United Arab Emirates Banks Federation, or the UBF, and the Abu Dhabi Global Market, ADGM, hosted a joint forum on crypto assets and fintech. The UAE's official news outlet Emirates News Agency reported yesterday. Per the report, the event was held in ADGM in collaboration with the UBF Compliance Committee and aimed to bring together industry specialists to discuss the challenges and opportunities facing fintech and crypto assets. At the start of the meeting, ADGM also shared its regulatory objectives and the main features of its crypto asset policy and surveillance tools. Moreover, the overall topics discussed at the forum reportedly range from the ADGM's crypto assets regulations and supervisory approach to how banks and financial regulators can jointly develop processes and procedures to ease crypto asset regulatory risks. The report also quotes UBF Chairman Abdul Aziz Al Ghurair as saying, "Given the rapid emergence of new fintech such as cryptocurrencies and other crypto assets, it is essential that we develop frameworks and regulations that govern these technologies and developments." Without reading much further, this is just another country, another group of countries who have come together and realized where crypto is going. They're making their regulations. You may not care for regulations; they are going to happen. And I feel like the UAE has been one of the more supportive cryptocurrency spaces in the world. Not many, I mean, we've seen some countries who've been very harsh to cryptocurrencies, but I feel like, especially because in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dubai has its own crypto, and I think the UAE was talking about creating their own cryptocurrency. So they seem to be open to it, and it's just more so that there is news that they are open to the idea of giving regulations or type of framework for cryptocurrencies as opposed to just kind of banning it, like we've seen in a bunch of other countries. Anyway, that is definitely going to do it for this video. Very weird news, very weird time, very weird things happening in the cryptocurrency space. I think the most important thing, or what I'm most excited for, is the actual whatever's happening with IBM this week. No idea. I'm pretty sure we'll get news of like an exact date whenever they're going to be discussing or talking about exactly what's going to be happening. But I'm very excited. Sorry to hype that up. I try to stay in the middle or not hype up things as much as possible. But I mean, listen, it's clear that banks and major institutions are actually in the cryptocurrency space. It's just a matter of the indication of exactly which coins that they're going to be using. It's all very exciting, at least to me. It should be to everyone. It should, like, you should all be squirming in your seats. Not to say that you should be squirming, especially not if you're driving. Anyway, that is definitely going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Hope it's incredible. Hope you all have a great week. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Vlad the Impaler, Gilboa Snake, Rai, Brady Niels, L Doug, Arthur Yaku, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Nick Mangilavori, Travis Haynes, Yasha Harari, Anthony Charles, Nick Kanaya, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Wise Night Owl, Joey Carafa, Crypto Joe, Jim Gardner, Jared Schneider, Jeremy Fox, Amy Starsheen, Richie Rich III, Jeffrey Ramsey, Cody, Carl Bochanoff, Paxis, Jeffrey Dam, Nicholas, One Earth, One Peace, One Love. I couldn't do it all in one breath. Setsuna, Minting Coins, Crypnotic, and RF Dusty, and ShaolinFriedRice.com. Incredible. Thank you all very much, all of you, for your support. I do appreciate it. I'm out of breath now, and yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.